Oh man, I've had a crazy morning. I've the last housemate. We have a new housemate moving
Sounds
in
like a
today.
movie. The Last Housemate.
The last housemate unplugged the fridge because he had a small fridge. Because there's three people living, and woke up today and there's just water everywhere
Wait,
on the
wait, wait.
floor.
He unplugged his little fridge and the other fridge,
No, just the little fridge, not the main big fridge, just the smaller fridge.
and that
And
had that much water in it.
yeah, because the whole freezer part
Yeah,
was just all
he
iced up.
defrosted it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you defrost it, but the water everywhere. So I've just been clearing that up. That's the
It
morning.
generally you want to do that outside.
Let's Talk Oculus is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/playtestvr. What's up, Oculus nerds? I'm Dan from Playtest VR. Welcome back to episode 43 of Let's Talk Oculus. As always, the Synth Riders top 50 king. It's
Oh yeah,
Samson.
just made it back up there.
You're back in that Synth Riders wave?
Oh yeah, I realized. I mean, we'll probably talk about it when we get into what we've been playing, but yeah, I'm back in. I'm back in.
He's back in. Sweet, sweet. And today we're joined by none other than Matteo311. Welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. Thank you for having me, guys.
Our
Awesome,
very
awesome.
first repeat guest, I believe,
Oh,
right?
look at that.
Yeah. We had him on episode 20, which in that episode we kind of dive into everything with Matteo. We dive in what the 311 stands for, and it wasn't as exciting as we thought
Yeah,
it was
no,
going to be.
sorry. I heard the whole podcast.
But
I
if you
was thinking about that recently. I'm like, I wish I could just, kind of
yeah,
get rid of it.
yeah,
Too late
it's
now.
fine.
It's too late.
They were
It's
talking about that on the Between Realities yesterday, like how coming up with names and what's in the name and all that.
Yeah,
it's stuck with you now. It's stuck with you. It's just part of your identity. It's fine.
30 years now.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Once that 311, that could be something to do
That's
with
how
the
long I've
years.
had it. 311 years.
Definitely. So if you want to hear like about Mateo's like journey and such, definitely go back and listen to that episode 20. But for
Yeah,
now,
this is part two.
This is part
Just go
two.
right in. Go right in.
For sure. In today's show, we're gonna obviously check in with Mateo, see how he's doing. He's had a massive fitness journey. I lost 20 pounds in 3 months. So big applaud to that. There's also heavy rumors on 2 new Quest headsets coming in the next 2 years. And Cambria is going to be significantly more than $800, which is mad. But we'll get into that. Before we jump into that, though, is housekeeping. Let's Talk Oculus is normally available every single Wednesday. Audio listeners can see the video version of the Let's Talk Oculus podcast on their YouTube channel. You can obviously check out Mateo's beautiful background if you're watching the YouTube. I see you've got a few more comfy chairs in the background there, Mateo.
Yeah.
Last
There's
time.
projector. Yep.
Yeah.
And on this wall, there's, a screen, for movie watching, all that stuff.
Beauty. Oh yeah, look at that.
Right there.
We've got a nice little widescreen view. So definitely hop onto the video podcast so you can see that. If you are watching on the video, you can listen to this on your commute on all good podcast platforms, as well as some rubbish ones as well. If you want to be part of the show, send in your questions at letstalkoculus@gmail.com or join our Discord, which I think we almost have 70 people in there now. So definitely jump in there. We have multiplayer games, we have big screen nights going on in there too. Nice. And if you really love us, throw us $1 at patreon.com. Before we begin, this is the first episode that both me and Samson are wearing the new merch, which is epic. Oh no, this is kind of my mic's in the way for the merch. There we go. I'll put a link in the show notes as well if you want to check out the new Let's Talk Oculus merch. A lot of people in the Discord have
tried to put the hood on, but got hit in the face with my mic. But yeah, it's got a nice hood. It doesn't go over the headphones well.
Excellent. Beautiful crackling on the sound. All right. Let's get into the show. Matteo, let's start with you. First of all, how are you doing? It's been a not too long since the last time we spoke. Obviously now you've gone self-employed. You've now left your full-time job. So how's that feel? And congratulations.
Thank you. And it feels fantastic. The job has just been eating away at me for years now. Like, I think a lot of people are in that position. Lucky enough, though, I've been positioning myself for a long time to make an escape.
Mhm.
And you know, it's partially why I had to go on my fitness journey, because I was so just beat down and depressed and stuff for a while that I let myself put on some weight over time. So
I
yeah.
know to juggle you had a full-time job, then you have your YouTube channel which you're
Yep.
consistently updating. Then you also have a family. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just, we got to note that
It's mad.
you're not a single person. It's like gamer tag as well. I'm like, oh, you also have a child as well.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I have two little girls, and my wife works crazy hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was eating away at me. It's definitely beating me up.
But now it's a big like weight off your shoulder. Are you going full-time YouTube or are you just doing other things in the background for now?
So first and foremost, just wanted to get family life back in order.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay financially right now. I don't immediately need to dive into anything.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, we just wanted to focus on family time because it was severely lacking between me and my wife. We were working 120 plus hours a week,
Mm,
and
yeah.
then two young kids, and then me trying to do YouTube, and it was too much. And
Yeah.
so that's the first step. Full time YouTube. I'm definitely putting more effort into it, spending more time on it. Do want to work more projects, but I'm also still doing some consulting. Just
Yeah.
to watch the
YouTube's not a consistent paycheck.
Yeah, YouTube is definitely not a consistent paycheck, and like I had a good job, so that is
Yeah.
going to be money missed. So I don't want to feel it, too much.
That's fair. Like you're kind of slowly moving into it then, because obviously you had the stability of that full-time job, and now you don't want to go from that to nothing. Obviously you went to my hometown recently as well. You went to England. You had a little vacation there.
Yes, yeah. I spent 2 weeks in Europe.
Awesome. Was that your first time there, or have you been before?
That was my first time there. Yeah, my brother's been living just outside of London for almost 10 years now, and we've been
Nice.
trying to visit him for almost 10
Yeah.
years. But we had two kids during that time period, and we had it booked 3 years ago, but COVID struck.
Mhm.
I mean, they literally closed the flights like 2 weeks before we were going to leave.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah. What did you think of it? Was it nice?
Yeah, no, it was really nice. I'm not the big, sightseeing type of guy. I think a lot of people in the community maybe, can relate to that. We're all like technology and, but there was a good balance there.
Yeah.
And, overall it's great. It's nice to see another country. And we were also we went through France and we were in Belgium. So,
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Did you manage to bump into any other content creators out in England? There's a lot of them.
So I was planning a meetup. The only person I ended up getting to really hang out with was Grumpy Duck VR, who's a great guy. We were hanging out for a while.
Yeah.
Congrats to him. He just got engaged, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, congratulations.
Or my condolences. Either way you want to look at it.
Nice.
But so I was planning to meet up with Steve Knows, Beardo, and GT.
Mhm.
And we had some plans, but the night before I went out with coworkers, and I've been on that epic fitness journey, so I haven't had a drink in like 2022. And then we had 9 pints.
Oh.
And the next day I wasn't really up for going out. And then Steve, he called me at like 12 in the afternoon, and he's like, yeah, I'm getting on my 3-hour train now. And I'm like, wait, you're doing 6 hours of traveling today? I'm like, just stay here with me. Stay in London with me. And he's like, no, I can't. I got to go back. I'm like, dude, I'm in no shape. Like I don't want
not worth it.
6 hours. Yeah, I don't want you to travel 6 hours to come see me. And then GT canceled. GT had some stuff going on. I think family related.
Yeah.
So GT canceled. So at this point, I was like, all right, boys, maybe I'll meet before I leave, but I don't think so. I mean, they would have came over and I would have just been like sprawled out on the couch. Like,
I've definitely been there in that scenario when someone's visited me, but I am just hungover as hell. It's just no fun. It's no fun for both parties. But
I couldn't. I love Steve, and I couldn't make that guy sit on a train for 6 hours. Just to see him over Matt. It's just not fair.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Steve's coming from. Is he coming from like Manchester or New? He must be coming from far north.
No, England's not that big. 3 hours is a long way.
I thought he was far south, but I could be wrong.
Oh, he could be far south. Yeah. It's not that big, but
that's what I mean.
It is when you're in England, it feels like a long time. When you're in like North America and you do a road trip, doesn't feel that bad because sometimes the road trip's kind of nice. There's different things happening, but in England it's the same highway.
Another grassy knoll.
No, we have. Yeah, I know we have states bigger than your country.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I live in British Columbia, Canada, and that's 3 or 4 times the size of my whole the whole UK. So it's surreal for sure. But yeah, maybe next time, or maybe if they come over to the US, they can definitely see you.
Yeah, they're always welcome here for sure.
Awesome. And you also went to PAX as well. You've had a lot going on recently, haven't you?
Yeah, so we got back, and then we went the next weekend. We went straight to PAX, and that was fantastic.
Yeah. Were you quite?
I was going to say, VR representation wasn't huge. PAX actually wasn't jumping this year. People are still like COVID shy. But I did, Resolution Games was there. So, met up with them, which was nice. Shell Games. I had a happy hour with Alchemy Labs and Shell Games. Nice. Where, I actually ended up meeting people from Gearbox and spending the night with them all night. So, like 5 bars later. It was down again.
So you've got like 3 months of fitness journey, which we'll get into in a moment, but no drinking, and then
capped
now
off.
We've got.
I will say though, the pictures taken in the video are post PAX, so they are post all of this. They are
all
post
the drinking.
Yeah, they are post going to 2 weeks in Europe, and then plus another week, in PAX, and 3 weeks of nothing because I had surgery.
Yeah, just surgery. Yeah. Well, I think. Look, I assume that Samson, you went on Sunday to PAX, and Matteo went on Saturday then, so you kind of just missed each other.
Yeah, I left Sunday morning because I have like a 2-ish hour drive home.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to avoid those crowds.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Before we get into Supernatural, how are you doing after your surgery? You back to good health?
I'm good now.
Yeah,
I'm all good. It was, it was like a rough week and a half. I still have like weird numbness and stuff from this incision area, but it was nothing big. It was almost like, there was, not to get into it too much, but I had a mass removed. Obviously, we wanted to make sure it wasn't cancerous or anything. It wasn't. It was decently big though, and now like now that area is just all sensitive. But that's it. About it.
Yeah. Just over time, I hope you get better, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel fine now, so I can't really complain.
Sweet. That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. Obviously, like we alluded to it, you had your big supernatural fitness journey. If you want to kind of dive into that more, for the people listening and watching, you've got a YouTube video out which has you're naked on the thumbnail. You've got before and after.
Clickbait.
Exactly. That's why it's got so many views.
For the 3% of my audience that's female. There you
go. But yeah, so you did 3 months. You lost around 20 pounds, right? Most of it in Supernatural, but you also had weight training. Obviously, for the listeners and viewers, if you want to dive deep into what the whole journey was, definitely check out the video. Links will be in the description. But just for the podcast listeners here, Matteo, first of all, what made you decide doing Supernatural over other kind of fitness apps? Did you try anything else?
So I've over time I've used like every fitness app out there. I Fit XR and Les Mills, Power Beats. I'm trying to. There's definitely a few more. It wasn't XR. Didn't have a different name at one point in time too.
Box VR, right?
Yeah. So I've tried them all, and I've definitely enjoyed them. And there's other games like Until You Fall that work as cardio too, with Thrill of the Fight. But I was like, you know what? Supernatural. It's a subscription service. There's got to be more to it. There's got to be a reason why they. $20 a month is crazy. So I was like, well, I want that answer. I want to know, is it worth $20 a month? And I want that full experience. So I dove into it.
And you went full into it, and you also paired it with weight training as well. A lot of people have that myth you can't really burn fat and put muscle on at the same time. Did you debunk that myth essentially?
Yeah. So, I've actually been like a gym rat my whole life. I actually really enjoy lifting weights. I did martial arts for years. I've been in better than average shape throughout my entire life.
Yeah, those old photos of you in your video, those 3% of females watch that video. Go watch it.
There you go. Hello, ladies. But so, you know, I knew what I needed to do. The pairing weight training, you know, one is because I enjoy it, but two, it's also going to help you if you're, you know, you're losing weight. You want to maintain muscle. You don't want to lose your muscle too, because then you're just going flat, you know. Yeah. So to help with your overall aesthetics, you want to weight train. It'll help you preserve muscle. It also, like, I go into great detail in the video about it. It's also like a really good way to measure your performance. You know, Supernatural judges you, but that's your cardio performance. But it's like, okay, am I burning through my muscle too? Because if you are, you're going to get weaker. So you're looking for that balance point. And as far as it goes with, you know, burning fat and building muscle, you can absolutely do it. Science has proven this, is if you're in a certain category. If you are undertrained and or overweight, and if you're both of those, like I was at the time, then you can do it for sure. So like if you've never worked out before and you're overweight, you're going to put on muscle and burn fat, you know, in most cases. And now if you're someone who's been training for a long time, it's much harder. You know, the line is very, very fine to find, like, you know, the proper calories and how hard to train and everything like that. It's a very fine line. If you're, you know, an athlete, you're well trained. But if you're getting into it now, you get your newbie gains, fat loss. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I remember you mentioning on the last podcast when you were with us that Until You Fall was the app you were using quite a lot for fitness, right? But you wanted something with Supernatural, you wanted something more just dedicated to fitness, so it's more tracked and you know,
I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, Supernatural is going to start you with a little warm up. It's going to give you a cool down. They even have like, hey, here's a program, so you don't have to think. It's like, okay, it's Monday, I do this. It's Tuesday, I do this. They give you extra motivation throughout, which is really good. The music is obviously awesome. That's what you're paying for. And then they give you stretching routines. I really couldn't get into the meditation because meditating with a Quest on was just
hard. Yeah,
not ideal.
I want to lay down. You can't lay down with the Quest on. So like, I couldn't get into the meditation, but the boxing and the flow, and flow is the perfect name for it because you do get in a flow state. Like sometimes I am just like tunnel vision. And then you're like, oh, I worked out. That was 30 minutes. All right, cool.
Yeah, it's the beauty of like just VR in general, because it takes you out of wherever you are and, you know, makes you focus on whatever you're doing. Because have you ever done like the P90X and Insanity workouts?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, you've done all that, right? So I was doing some of that at the beginning of the year, and then I had like some shin splints in my legs, so I couldn't do any of the big Insanity exercises anymore. And I was like, hold on, I saw your video. I was like, hold on, why didn't I just do Supernatural but try and burn the same amount of calories to kind of do it as much, right? And it's kind of still the same. And I looked at my Apple Watch, and I know that the tracking is not perfect, but to match it for what I relatively did with the Insanity workouts, is like, this is pretty. If I do like 40 minutes of Supernatural on hard, it's pretty, you know, 1-to-1, which is really good, and it doesn't feel like you're working out.
Yeah, and I'm actually one, you know, that not feeling like you're working out is huge because you can keep coming back. You know, if you like Insanity and P90X, you know, I felt that dread. Like, oh my God, today's P90X, chest and back, and I'm gonna be nauseous by the time I'm done, and I'm gonna be sweating, and I can't catch my breath, and you know, all that. And there is, you know, like people say, oh, you got to go hard. Yeah, you do have to, like, you know, it depends what your goals are. But if you're going so hard that it cuts into your ability to perform later in the week, you know, and it's not right. Especially as you know, as we're getting older, you know, there's you can't redline yourself constantly.
Yeah.
You know, like I find that doing a steady pace for a little bit longer time consistently, I get better results than just trying to crush myself. Because if I like do like 20 minutes of super intense hit, I'm like useless for the day. Yeah, I'm like that's it. I don't want to do anything else, and I don't spend any like extra additional calories throughout the day because I've exhausted.
Feel like I spent,
yeah, and then you get a bit lazy, and then your diet starts to slip because you can't be bothered to like cook, and it just snowballs like that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. I noticed in the video you're not a big fan of the silicone that Supernatural says.
So, I mean, obviously there's a joke in there to be had. Who wants to wear rubber? But but I mean, at the same time, that's just me. Like, I've tried so many different facial inserts, and I just do not like the feel of it on my face.
That's so funny. That's my favorite one.
I mean,
it's my favorite one.
Everyone was like, I remember back in the day, everyone's like VR cover. And I put the thing on my face and I'm like, what is this gross? Like, it feels like it sticks to my skin. Maybe I got oily skin, maybe whatever it is. Comfort is subjective.
You prefer the pleather? Like the...
My ideal is what the Valve Index has, which is, it's a combination of like soft material, but also a little water resistant.
Right. Okay.
So like if I had to grade them, it would be the Valve Index, whatever that material is, because it's a combination.
I've never worn it. Yeah.
It's like a combination of foam, but also there is some, sweat resistance or water resistance property to it. After that, it was probably like not the stock Quest, but like, the stock Quest is a step down from that. I would definitely wear, the silicone on top of what HTC offers up, which is just straight foam. And straight foam is the worst in my opinion because it's
sweat,
a nasty sponge by the time you're done. Like you'll put it on your face and it might feel comfortable for like 30 seconds and then it's hot and then 20 minutes later it's a sweat sponge.
It's so gross.
Yeah. It's the worst.
That's terrible. I to be fair with the VR cover, I find it for me all year round, almost all year round is good. It's just when it gets into the hot months is when the leather on your face starts to get, And
I'm surprisingly, like, I know a lot of people like, oh, I always fog up my my headset or, it gets super sweaty. I don't know, like maybe my face just doesn't sweat that much or whatever the case is. I'm usually not that bad. Like even throughout all these supernatural exercise, using just a regular Quest, head strap there. It's usually moist. People hate that word. By the end of a workout, but it's not like this is disgusting. Like I could actually take like a rag and kind of just wipe it.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, I'll go like really rinse it out and throw it in the dryer. But that's like super rare. Most cases I can kind of just wipe it off a little bit, disinfect it. It's good. It doesn't need like washed.
Did you have any issues with getting like sweat on your lenses at all?
No, like never. Like in 6 years of playing VR games, never.
Maybe I sweat so much. I
was about to say maybe it's just a me problem because I'm playing
so much.
I'm playing Supernatural and I've literally got sweat all over the lenses.
Oh yeah, I saw your picture and I was like, "Jeez, man." When you're wearing the silicone though, it prevents absorption, so you're gonna get more beaded sweat balls. Like all around the headset and stuff. But I've never really had anything building up inside. I just, like if anything, I'll take off the headset and like around my ear.
Yeah.
Like, around the top of my head, hairline, around my ear, over here. That's where I'll have the most sweat. But really nothing makes it in. I also like to have the headset like strapped on like, like a vice grip.
Yeah. I strap it on like a vice grip too. I think you're right though. I think the silicone maybe just retains that sweat, and then when I take it off, it's like dripping.
I wear a head strap or something, like a headband,
Like nothing absorbs at all when you have the silicone on. So it just sits there and where it's gonna pool wherever it can.
Did you ever have any like challenges whilst working out with the VR headset? There's a lot of people I talk to who are like, I've suggested VR workouts and such. They always go, oh, maybe it's uncomfortable when I play because it's quite big. And I guess maybe for us, it's a little different because we're so used to the headset right now. But did you have anything like whilst you were doing a certain workout, you realized that you've got this heavy piece of metal on you?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I couldn't use it for meditation. I want to lay down and you just can't. Yeah. And then I notice it more when I'm still. Like when I'm moving, I don't feel it as much, as odd as that sounds. But then like, in some of like the cool downs or the warm up, they're like, okay, tilt your head to your ear. And you're like, oh, no, that feels terrible.
Yeah.
And you feel the weight, the headset's pulling you in the wrong direction. So but honestly, for the most part, I mean, I think the worst case scenario is I accidentally punch the headset every once in a while.
I do. Yeah.
You know,
especially when I'm boxing, I try and bring my grip back up, and it bang.
yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, I said in my video, it actually makes you, like drop your guard, because
Yeah.
when you put your hands where they should be, you are occluding all the cameras, or at least the bottom two, and then your hands just float off into nowheresville. And I mean, they've done work to make that better, but it actually encourages you to drop your guard more often, and that's not good. But again, you're not getting into a street brawl. You're looking for a workout, so it's fine.
Yeah, this is a boxer size class, not a you're not practicing. I guess that's where a thrill of the fight, that's where it becomes an issue, when you want to kind of have that there.
Yeah, and I've only played that in my index, so I don't have that issue there.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, we'll talk about it later on in the news, but Light Boxer, they have hand tracking 2.0 enabled. So I don't know if that's a thing where they were going, okay, we can't kind of put our hands there because the Quest controllers, but let's put hand tracking in. I wonder if that's Supernatural looking into that. So that could be could be a solution. That could be a solution. Yeah. What are your favorites? Do you like the flow better? Do you like the boxing better?
So I'm starting to get into the boxing a lot more now. So when I started this, I was only doing flow, and they had a routine that's like just medium intensity. It was a 7-day routine, and I was doing that.
Yeah.
And then after 4 weeks, I kicked it up and was just doing random songs, high intensity. Then a few weeks more, I was throwing in some boxing, and now they have the Beast Challenge, which is nice, which does high intensity flow and boxing. And I feel like I've even watched some of my footage, and I'm like, I don't know about how good the tracking is on the boxing when it comes to making contact. Especially when it comes to uppercuts.
Yeah,
you can jab an uppercut every single time, and it'll say you're good.
Yeah,
but you can uppercut an uppercut, and unless you're swinging for the fences, it's like doink, and it just like, and you're like, but I hit it. You're like, but I just hit it. Why didn't it register? Like this is fine.
Yeah,
but if I do this, and you have to swing for the I mean, maybe it's done on purpose. They want you to really, hammer in an uppercut. But then why is my jab register? Where's my jab register? Which is annoying. So, and then like when you look at your score and it's like accuracy 99.9%. I'm like, two uppercuts, like that, that's where I get annoyed. Or like for a while, the game used to actually stutter a bit. But they patched that out. Yeah, the game used to stutter on high intensity a little bit.
It's just too much on screen.
Yeah, it would just you get a little stutter every once in a while. And I noticed it after, I don't know, I think it was version 39 on the Quest upgrade. So you never know with these version upgrades. So I noticed the stuttering after that, but it was also the same time I started doing more high intensity. So I don't know which one it was, but it has been patched out. I can say that for sure.
I will say I noticed that stutter playing synth riders in the experience on Master. Like I think it might have just been going to it would stutter a bit.
I've noticed that in synth riders too, in the new one, the Lindsay. Is it Lindsay Sterling? I can't remember her name, but in that one, there's a lot of stutter when it comes to the experience. It just that's just in Quest 2 though. I don't know if it's different in a PCVR headset, but
I haven't. I gotta jump in. Those experiences are amazing.
They're fantastic. Yeah, they're really good. Even though the song, like the Lindsay one with the violin player, I was like, I'm not into this music.
I know.
You put it on, you're like, this is pretty wicked.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
That's the same with Supernatural. As I started that beast mode, and it was the first one was a classical.
Yes.
And I was like,
I was gonna say the same thing. Like classical. Why am I? And then you're like, all right, I'm feeling this. All right. Cool.
Yeah, you're like a composer, and you're like, whoa, this is pretty sick. Yeah, that is great. Supernatural. The choreography that's done in there for the movesets are really well played, and especially for the ab ones as well. They really focus on that. And if they want to do a glute workout, you're still shoulders, but you are targeting your glutes too. This is really good.
And I was afraid that it's going to lead to some injury because it's like excessive repetitive motions. But no, throughout my 12-week straight of using it. Some days my shoulders were a little sore, but they would be sore, probably from the gym or whatever.
Yeah.
I never felt like I was getting wear and tear. That's the whole thing. I never felt like, I'm just doing the same motion too much that I'm hurting my joint or whatever the case may be.
It's also a form thing. If anyone's listening and hasn't tried Supernatural, definitely check out their YouTube channel because they have a couple form tips for flow. Because it's not, you don't want to do it like Beat Saber, where Beat Saber, their things are coming out so fast. You want to, like, a lot of people use their wrists and such just to try and get that top score, but it's not what you want to do in Supernatural. You're not really going for a top score. You're just trying to work out, you know.
Supernatural wants you to do like large sweeping,
the full movement.
Yeah. And to the point that, like, you know, they want to test the tracking to its limits, basically. Which, you know, again, that could be slightly annoying too, which I show in the video. Like, you know, they want you to end here and you'll see my controllers kind of pop back in and out. But I mean, for the most part, it's at, you know, it's accurate enough.
Yeah.
You know, if it causes you to miss, you know, 1 or 2 orbs, fine, so be it. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So be it. It's not, like I said, it's not part of getting like a Beat Saber top 10 or anything. It's just for you, you know, and it's just for you to get fitter. So now, obviously, you've done your 3 months journey. Are you going to continue with Supernatural? What's the next stage?
I'm still in Supernatural. Like I said, I'm doing the beast mode now. And then I just got back to the gym this week after, you know, like 6 to 8 weeks off, and I am hurting. I couldn't believe, like, I feel okay, but like, you know, I haven't done any squats or anything, you know, 2 months. And strength wise, I wasn't bad, but I'm like, God, this hurts so much more than I remember.
Yeah.
Your body's just worse. It's like, it's your neurological system has to adapt to just being under that, like, you know, tension. And then that's why, like, you come back the second week and all of a sudden you feel so much stronger. It's just like your body's like, no, I know what to expect.
Yeah. Is you had a 6-week break, right, from weight training?
It's probably about 8 because I had 3 weeks after surgery. And then I said, well, I'm not going back to the gym because I'm going on vacation.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another week. So that puts me into week 4. Then I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. That's 6. Then I come back and I say, well, I'm going away to PAX. So I'll start once I get back from PAX. So, okay, 7 weeks off I took.
Yeah. And that's a long time. So, like, yeah, of course your body's going to be sore, right?
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be sore. Before we kind of move on from this, one thing with Supernatural, is anything that kind of wish that was there, or anything that you're probably missing in there?
A lower price tag.
Yeah.
I mean, it is pretty expensive. You know, it's as much as, you know, gym.
It's as much as my gold gym membership, to be honest. It's exactly the same.
Gym membership, which is pretty crazy. So a cheaper price tag. Also, like, Les Mills has the option where you can see, like, your friends or people online where they score as you're playing, like asynchronous.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't tell you how many times Les Mills I've, like, been, like, lower of the pack, middle of the pack, and said, I am winning, and have brought myself all the way to the top just because in the corner of my eye I have this active leaderboard. So something like that would be cool. It would be nice if I could actually use it outside of the United States. I was so annoyed when I was in the UK.
Really?
Yeah.
I was honestly, I watched your video.
Is that licensing?
Yes, licensing.
I watched your video and I saw that, and I was so sad because in the next month I'm going back to the UK for 5 weeks. I was like, I'm not going to be able to play this unless I try and, I don't know how else to
VPN in.
I mean, you could sideload a VPN on your Quest. That's that, or you have to set up a VPN network where you're going to be in Europe. Come on. I mean, so yeah, it's you know, but you know, sideload a VPN, that's your best option. But I didn't think ahead of time.
Yeah.
I get there and I'm like in my hotel and I put it on. It's like, oh, you need Wi-Fi, and I'm like, all right. So I go and turn on my Wi-Fi because I'm like, I just want to work out. I don't need Wi-Fi. But the game forces you to be online. And then the second I get online, it's like, no, you're in the wrong country. Peace out.
It'd be nice if they could just you could save offline workouts, you know, and then when you travel like to somewhere outside North America, at least you have maybe 6 to 10 workouts there that you can just have on there, right? An offline mode, essentially.
I think I wish they had like a free section, like, you know, like even if it's only
a demo,
4 songs, a demo, 4 songs, whatever it is, that's available to everyone. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be the best music, just whatever they can get.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was so sad when I heard that. I was like, for God's sake. Are you using any other accessories when you're doing workout? Do you have different like wrist straps or anything like that, or
no? I mean, I was using the Kiwi wrist straps for a while, so Kiwi sponsors me. So I just want to make that clear before I start talking about Kiwi stuff. But I was using the Kiwi straps, which are nice because they feel like the index. The only problem is I also have a charging dock, so I can't put them in.
Yeah.
I stopped using the Kiwi.
I had the same problem. Kiwi sent me the straps too, just to point that out. And yeah, if they were great straps, but the thing is, yeah, you have to take them out and then find the battery cover again and put it back on and then put
Zero
it
chance of doing that.
It's too much. It's too much effort.
And then I was like, all right, maybe I should try the Kiwi weights, but I was like, I feel like that's gonna lead to injury.
I heard those, yeah.
And like oddly enough, I have these right here. This is it's honestly it's 100% cosmetic. It's 100% cosmetic, and I said, well, you know what? It's got some extra weight. Let me just see how it feels in Supernatural with these, and it just didn't feel good. And I did feel like, this might lead to injury,
especially something that's further away from
because the weight is wrong, so it's like really wants to tilt forward. So I was like, I'm just gonna not.
I understand as well, like the weight, even the Kiwi weights, because they're so front heavy. When I was doing, I can't remember if I was doing boxing or flow, but I was doing it with them, and it felt like my wrist was a little bit more fatigued, because everything I'm trying to keep it straight.
I feel like you'd have to like hold it separate, like this or something,
Well, that's the thing. When I put in the Kiwi, I'm just bigging up Kiwi here. Why not? If I'm bigging up their hand straps, because I do like their hand straps, it does help it a little bit, with the wrist fatigue. So if you really, really want that, I would say you just got to pair it with something that's a wrist strap, a hand strap, because a wrist strap just
$100 later, and your $200 membership for Supernatural. Now you're broke. Better get it.
But in shape,
and
comfortable.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah. So if anyone listening or watching, if you want to see the fitness journey, it's on Matteo's YouTube channel, and the link will be in the description below. Before we get into what are we playing this week, Matteo, I just wanted to ask you what your more of a quicker thoughts on the state of the Quest right now with the gaming showcase that came by. What are your kind of thoughts on what we saw? Because a lot of people thought it was meh. A lot of people thought it was solid. I think I watched your live stream and it said B+. I think you said at the time.
I think that I was gonna say, I think I walked away saying like this was a solid B+. I went into the stream knowing what was gonna be there.
Right.
So like I wasn't gonna ham anything up, but I played aloof. Like, like, oh, what's this? And then like adding context since I have additional information. So like, but then like the second it was done, I had a recap ready to go. I was like,
I thought so. I thought you got that out so fast, and I was like, what is going?
So I had it ready to go with my like deeper thoughts.
Yeah. You also had the thumbnail of all the different characters that will come up in the show, but all in like silhouettes. Yeah. And I looked at it afterwards, and I was like, wow, he got every single one right.
And the funny thing was, like, I didn't want, I obviously can't give it away. No, I made sure to throw two wrong ones in there.
Oh, you did?
Okay. Throw two wrong ones in there on purpose. But so like, because like you can't give everything away. And like, well, do I know? I don't know. Should I know? But I definitely threw. And then I had people look at it and be like, what characters are there? And most people couldn't get all of them. So I was like, all right, it's a safe thumbnail to use.
Yeah. I just saw Quill afterwards, and I was like, wow, he knew. I didn't think Moss was going to come out for another few months.
Well, I mean, Polyarch said like a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, they said we're coming to other platforms as quick as possible. So I throwing Quill out there, I felt like was like
safe. Fair enough.
That was a very safe one.
Yeah.
Like Dan saying that Walking Dead 2 was going to come.
Yeah,
I mean, that was obvious.
Well, Walking Dead 2 was already announced.
Yeah.
And then also even like the Aspire 2 leaks the week before, everyone was like, Aspire 2 is coming. And I'm like, and then like Bone Lab, they announced it, and I'm like, that was my biggest complaint. It's like, there's nothing.
There's no hype. Yeah.
Only Ghostbusters for everyone, to be honest. I don't know if you knew about that one.
That one totally caught me off guard. And I'll be honest, unless I'm blind, it was not in my notes of
Right.
what was coming. So I was genuinely like blown away and surprised when I was like, "What's this? What's
Yeah.
this? Something I don't know about?"
So
I
that
mean,
was a genuine reaction in the live
yeah,
stream.
yeah. I mean, there were a few clips that I didn't have access to going in. You know, that, you know, obviously they kind of, you know, give you a little lineup because they want you to be prepared to, you know, if you're going to make a video on the topic
to cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, obviously the show footage I didn't see, you know, so I didn't, you know, anything they did during the show, I didn't really know what was going to go on, but I knew like there'd be like a new quest environment. And I'm like, okay, yeah, great. Well, like, I mean, I gotta say though, like, it's kind of painful because the day before on Twitter or wherever, it's like, oh, Mark Zuckerberg is hinting at something huge, and then he introduced the new Crystal Cove environment.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
huge for who?
I'm like, dude, I mean, why'd you even show up, man?
Yeah.
I'm like,
he literally showed up for what, 10, 15 seconds, and that was it.
Yeah, and be like, and when they showed the pictures online, they showed the, you know, like they don't use a green screen. I think they use the LiDAR system.
Yeah.
So they showed him in that, and it's like, oh, what are they gonna, you know, show some metaverse thing?
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be walking around the metaverse. What it was? It's gonna be mixed reality. Like when you see that, you know, or it's gonna be some type of new tracking, you know, and that's where your brain starts going. And then he's like, the Crystal Cove.
Great, awesome, fantastic.
Yeah,
for sure. I think for someone who on the outside kind of didn't really know what the announcements were going to be, I thought it was like solid and it was fun to watch. But once you step back from it, you can kind of look at it and go, okay, it's solid, it's decent. There's nothing massive to shout about.
I said it's a B, it's a B plus. Bone Lab, I mean, Bone Lab is probably gonna, you know, take the Quest 2 by storm.
Especially with the mods.
Yeah, you have solid sequels. You know, Morse Book 2, extremely solid sequel. Saints and Sinners, extremely solid sequel. Bone Lab, not a sequel, but let's just say it is. So like you have very solid sequels. And then people are gonna like, you know, Red Matter 2. And then
Among Us
2 looks, you know, Aspire 2 looks like they might actually have, you know, like a good game on their hands this time. I wasn't a big fan of the original. It improved over time. They corrected their issues, but it, you know, it looks like there's the potential they learned from their mistakes and now have a solid game in Aspire 2. But only
and then obviously we have Among Us at the end, and then Ghostbusters as well. With Ghostbusters looks like After the Fall, essentially, like that kind of concept, but in a Ghostbuster theme. You know, 4-player co-op and such.
It looks like there's also going to be a story-driven campaign in it.
Yeah, they said solo as well. So, you know, we'll see if even they come out. Sometimes I'm kind of worried. You know, they put the disclaimer up at the start. You know, and they put that disclaimer up.
I forgot about that.
I was watching it with Soul Fox, and I'm just like, are they serious? And I'm like, Soul, who's narrating this, me or you? And he's like, that's too many words. I'm not reading that. And I did like the first 2 lines, and then I stopped. I'm like, are they serious? How do you start a show with, oops, maybe we might screw up. Sorry. Like, you know, like it was just
don't get mad at us.
Yeah, it was really weird. And it almost feels like they know exactly what games aren't going to be ready, but they want the hype anyway. But there's a game to be played, you know, like they understand where public perception is right now and they need to hype people up. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. And then they've got the Pico coming, and they've got, you know, the PlayStation VR 2 coming. They're finally getting a little bit of competition trickling in. You know. So yeah, they need to. And finally, what were your thoughts on the Assassin's Creed leak? Do you believe that leak? Because
he's got a video on that too.
I know. For the podcast
so I mean, obviously,
but you got to plug it.
You gotta walk away saying, okay, there's no real information here. You gotta walk away saying, okay, worst case scenario, because of this information, the game sounds like it could be terrible, or this is such an old build, you know, that we didn't see any actual footage. We saw a game menu. You could even fake that game menu. I obviously
very easy to make something like that. But
I mean, like, you know, so like, I read it and everything sounded believable because it's in line with like my biggest fears. But someone could actually just take their biggest fears and just write it like, "Hey, I was a playtester," you know. So, but it was covered by other different outlets, and it does sound like the description of the game does sound true, and some aspects do sound intriguing. But now, like you look further in, it's also the possibility because Ubisoft might be in some financial trouble right now.
Yeah,
There's the
I was gonna
possibility.
say, yeah,
There's the possibility that that studio is getting acquired. So when studios like that get acquired,
bye.
yeah, they're gonna look at where the budget's going and what's gonna make the most profit. And you know, it's very possible that's why we haven't heard anything official about these games because they're potentially on the chopping block. Or they're not anything great to show yet. Supposedly they've been in development for 3 years now. 3 years, we should be able to see something.
Yeah, at least something, especially if the game is like what they showed in the leak. Like, surely something like that could already been shown. But yeah, nothing on that, nothing on Splinter Cell. But I'm kind of glad it got leaked because I think we had some Splinter Cell leaks earlier on in the year as well. So
nothing on GTA either.
Yeah. Well, GTA is gonna take time because
it's a huge game.
It's a huge game. It's going to take so much time, and QA is going to take so much time on that because there's so many different elements. But at the same time, Rockstar just like they probably didn't start working onto this until late in or after they finished up their remastered, and remastered was broken, so they got to go back and fix that. So GTA is going to be a while.
Yeah. I wish they picked like GTA 3 to start in VR. Like, come on. Like, why go with the biggest,
Hey, it sells. It sells. It'll sell. Here
we go again.
It'll do stuff like Resident Evil 4. It will sell. People will be like, oh man, this has got GTA in.
Especially there's just so much more in San Andreas, like an RPG game.
It's massive. Yeah. But we shall see. All right, let's move on to what we've been playing. Samson, what have you been playing? Obviously, Synth Riders.
What? Yes, obviously Synth Riders. So unlike y'all, I hopped into Supernatural and I got through like 3/4 of the song and I was like, I just rage quit. And I was like, screw this. I'm gonna use I use a stationary bike mostly for cardio, but I was like, I'm gonna use that and Synth Riders 2x speed master, and I just like zone in. In Supernatural, I really struggle with like I am aware that I'm in a workout and doing this to work out.
Right.
And like I'm also aware that I'm not working out as efficiently as I could be. Whereas Synth Riders, I'm like, I'm not doing this to work out. I'm having a blast.
You're dancing.
Yeah, exactly. So I get why Supernatural is for folks, but it's not my ideal way to work out. And so, yeah. Anyway, Synth Rider's been playing that. Played some mini golf last weekend. Met up with some college friends and brought a few quests around. That was a blast. Got into Dead Second a little bit more. And then, Chronos. So I've been looking for like gamepad VR games, and so I found Chronos. And I've only played for about an hour so far, but very good. Yeah, enjoying it. It's freaking beautiful. I'm like, this game came out in 2016. This is bonkers. And one makes me want way more like gamepad VR games because imagine how beautiful oh man, it was just yeah, it was cool.
I think there's a lot of like amazing PC VR titles which have been just locked away. Stuff that came out in 2016 to 2018 that people, not many, a lot of people have jumped in when Quest 2 have come in, and not looked at those games.
It's anymore. Also full price still, like 6 years later. So it's like I happened to get a $30, like Oculus code. I was like, all right, I'll spend $10 on this, but like $40 for a 6-year-old game.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that stopped me from getting into that game for like the longest time.
Yeah, because of that weight.
But it's funny you say that. Like, there's these like hits that are, almost AAA quality, VR, PC VR exclusive titles that people don't know about because PC VR is only a niche of a niche at this point. And Yeah, like I can't tell you how many people comment on one of my most popular videos where I break down years of games. I go through like, I don't know, 150 different games. One of the most popular comments is, "What game is this?" And the game being shown is Half-Life Alyx.
Wow.
And I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, this is
like
the,
it's only the biggest
game.
VR game. And it's all the questers, they're all like, "Oh my God, that looks amazing. What is that?" And it's like, yeah, it's Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah. Yeah. It's surreal, but I think people who are exclusive to Quest 2, which I am at the moment, don't really realize what the power of what's out there. And I remember when I did have like a PC VR setup and I put Alyx on, even just the start where you see the menu system and the lettering comes up, I'm like, holy smokes, this is completely different.
It's goosebump territory,
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Matteo, what of anything that you want to shout about that you've been playing this week?
Yeah, so I started actually playing the Half-Life 2 VR mod, which should be freely available in the near future to everyone. I got sent the key for that play testing, and I jumped in, and it feels like a native game. Like I haven't jumped into some of the questionable areas of Half-Life 2 where you drive a boat, drive a buggy. But I did go straight to Raven's home because we don't go to Raven's home. And I jumped in there and I'm like, this is great. It's immersive. It runs so smooth. It definitely looks, graphic. The game is what? I don't know, 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
2004, I think Half-Life 2 came out. So the game is 18 years old at this point and still looks, probably looks better than Resident Evil 4 does.
That doesn't surprise me.
And it's just great. It feels good. I was impressed. I was definitely impressed. I was like, all right, Valve has to get behind this and make this like
a thing. Yeah. I watched Sadly Bradley play that. He was having a blast.
Yeah. Now, like you jump in, like my whole thing with mods is like if there is like a bird in the entry, sometimes I'm like, well, especially in the past, I was like, I don't got time for that. If I got to jump through hoops, I'm not playing this.
Yeah.
But if it feels like a native game, like, so I played through all of Half-Life 1 in VR on my Quest. And, now I started Half-Life 2. And yeah, you just start it up like any other game. You put on your headset and you play and it's working. And, motion controls and they even did it like Half-Life Alyx where, you get the menu to pick your weapons.
Nice.
So nice. It's very solid. I'm sure there's some areas and issues,
Sure.
But so far feels good. Like I picked up the gravity gun and I was like scratching my head. I couldn't figure out how to alt fire. And I'm hitting the left trigger, but maybe I was just a spaz. I don't
know. Who made that mod?
So Dr. Beef is involved in it.
Okay.
He was involved in the process. It was a different group working on it. He got pulled in. Asked to join, whatever the case may be. But yeah, and you could feel that, it's so solid because his mods are
fantastic. Yeah. Did you find any like motion issues at all when you was it too smooth or anything when you were walking around?
It felt fast. Like it felt fast. Which I would say I'm not against. Like I love like Everslot on PC. So that's very fast paced too. Doom is very fast paced. If you've been in VR for a while, like some of these games too slow pace, like you feel like, and it felt like an unnatural movement speed, but I was okay with that. Like I was like, yeah, let's get some.
Yeah.
When I've gone to try to play the first Doom in VR, that gets me. Like I don't notice it when it's like really happening, but I'll be playing for 10, 15 minutes and then I'm like, I don't feel so good.
I was about to mention Doom was the one that I've played too, where I've just felt, this is a little bit too fast, but then
is that the Doom 3 mod you're talking about?
Yeah.
I was playing the first original. Yeah, I was playing
original. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't played the originals, but I know like the Doom 3 mod, like that one only runs at 60 FPS. So you're already in questionable territory for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was fine with it, and then the cutscenes get a little weird, but they work. And it really didn't, I felt fine. But God, if you were trying that on a Quest 1,
and that's obsolete at this point. Nothing in that showcase was a Quest 1 game, so it's gone.
Quest 1's gone. Yeah, but besides that, I just played through Fracked again.
Yeah, it came on PC VR recently, right?
Yep. Fract is a blast.
Yeah,
It made me act like a goofy idiot.
I've not played.
It looks like
Fract,
a solid few hours.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's just, it's like 3-4 hours. And then you're like, it's cool.
I put it in my wish list. I'll wait for like any discount on it and I'll pick it up.
So 5 Point Infinity. Go grab it. If you've never had a trial, or sign up for whatever the heck 5 Point is, $10. Because there's tons of great games on 5 Point Infinity.
And that's on
not sponsored by Viveport, just so you guys. But yeah, no, it's a good deal. So Viveport Infinity has the game right now.
Got to be careful about your disclosures these days.
Yeah, definitely.
I know everyone.
Twitter will come after you.
Everyone's hypersensitive.
Oh, he doesn't have real thoughts. He's sponsored. What I've been playing, I've actually not been playing any VR games, but I've been in Supernatural all week, and I've been posting on Twitter, and Coach Doc followed me, which is great, and Leanne was tweeting, and I like how
see that.
I like how the trainers are all like engaged. As soon as you post something on there, they either liking it or commenting on it. It's a great community. It's fantastic.
Yeah, active.
So you commented on my video, and then Leanne commented on that, and I was like, no. I immediately wrote back. I'm like, Leanne, you beast. Like, thank you for helping me lose 20 pounds.
I saw that too. I thought that was quite funny.
My EDM girl.
Yeah. Her EDM.
Like, yeah, I could dance the EDM. I'm like, how? Whatever.
Her EDM workout is probably my favorite one that I've played this week for sure. It's so as well as the classical one in the beast mode. The classical one is so the can I think it's called. But yeah, and I just wanted to mention they did something for Star Wars Day. They had a Star Wars special.
Yeah, I didn't do it, but I saw.
It was really weird, and my housemate was just was sitting in the living room. Our living room now, say quote unquote gym room, is kind of connected. So all he was hearing was me listening to like the Imperial March and such while I'm swinging, and he's like, "Are you working out to Star Wars? You absolute geek,
nerd!"
I was almost tempted to work out in Kanto this morning.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, don't tell me they have it in Kanto music." Yeah, I was like, "No," and I was like, "No, I get enough of that with my kids."
I was about to say, surely your daughter's gonna love that.
I would have known all the words.
Oh man! So you'll crush it. You'll get 100%, triple platinum. You'll be fine.
Yes. I've diamond a couple times.
Nice. Yeah. I think I've only diamond once this week, but it's pretty cool. I just want to mention with the Star Wars, they went all out with it because they had Coach Doc was dressed up in his like Jedi costume. He was holding I guess the hologram of Leia, which was Leanne, in his hand, and she was like, I took a video of it. I should post it on Twitter because it was really cool.
That is fantastic, and that's what you're paying for with the subscription,
For sure. And then they had like 2 or 3 songs, and then it cut to another trainer, which I don't think I recognized who he was, but he had all this like synthetics on because it was the Emperor essentially in Star Wars, and he was telling you to do fast feet every time he electrocutes you and such, and it was wicked. It was so much fun.
Maybe it was the other dude, the other guy, the other beefy guy. I can't remember.
Yeah, it might have been him. I just didn't recognize it because it was just he was all makeup, so I had no idea who it was. But it was just really well done. But yeah, I guess that's what you're paying for with the subscription, and that's probably our first look at something that Meta's probably influenced when they've now taken over Supernatural, because obviously they got a good partnership with Star Wars. So that might be one of their first major influences. Still waiting on that fitness pack, by the way, that they announced will come in January. Still nowhere to be seen.
It's a few things we're waiting on. The Facebook, account login thing that they said.
Yeah. No, and also our capture updates.
Yeah.
But I think they said like late April, May. So it's May.
They did say they're hoping for April, but May is most likely. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt with that one.
Yeah. They're working on it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's round up the show and go into the VR news. First one, we have what one? We have about 6 things on the list here. But the major one is The Information, which is a news outlet. They kind of leaked or just had like a report on that there's going to be a 4 headset roadmap from now to the end of 2024 for Meta. 2 of them will be Quest. codenamed Stinson and Cardiff, and then 2 of them were obviously Cambria, as we know about, and another one called Funston. Spreading over from now to 2024. Samson, did that surprise you that there's going to be 2 Quest headsets that they're reporting on in the next 2-3 years?
No, not really. I mean, one was probably going to be like a Pro, something like that, like a second level. And then we all expected another Quest, probably next year, 2023 late, something like there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna tech's coming.
Tech's coming. They're gonna
their cycles are gonna be a lot shorter than a PlayStation 5 or Xbox.
Yeah, well, it's mobile hardware.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they just didn't come out with a Quest, say, this year because 1, they're focused on Cambria, and 2, you've got all those shortages. So maybe that new one was going to come. What do you think, Matteo?
So there's also there's a couple aspects to that. So this is just now they're phasing out the original Quest.
Yeah,
it's a little early to turn your back on the Quest 2 crowd. Like obviously when you're in growth mode, companies are very willing to get rid of like the first million people that help jump them to 10 million.
Yeah, the early adopters.
They don't care, it's a net positive 9 million. So they're quick to like the people who got the Oculus Go. Yeah, screw those guys. People who got the Quest 1, forget about those guys. But as you get bigger, you can't really do that as much anymore. The Quest 2, it does have a pretty good following. You're going to piss people off if you suddenly say, hey, now you need a Quest 3. Yeah. At the same time, you also couldn't split development up that much because now these studios are doing Quest 1 because for a while, that was forced
mandatory.
Mandatory. So Quest 1, Quest 2, Quest 3 development, and then on top of that, probably like PC and PlayStation development. It's just nuts. And if you're just thinking Quest exclusive, to tell them you have to QA this on 3 separate platforms, it's a little ridiculous. Not to say they wouldn't do that, but that's just at least one thing holding them back.
Especially how bigger the gap is between each of those headsets too. That's the thing. Yeah.
So you have pushback from consumers, pushback from developers. Probably also you're still dealing with massive chip shortages. And then, what's the new hardware? There's no XR3.
No.
So there. What is it? They had the Snapdragon 888, but it's not ideal for mass production. So so there really is nothing
no advances.
There's nothing to jump to right now. Yes, you can do better cooling. Which you need to get more out of the CPU because the XR2 chip is underclocked for better battery life and performance and thermals. So you could do better cooling and get a little bit more out of it, and then kind of redesign what they'll do with Cambria. Redesign, put the battery in the back, weighted nicer. So there is room for improvement for sure, but it's not a incremental improvement. It's like a plus improvement, not a generational improvement. So they needed time for that.
For sure. How many years do you think Quest 2's still when do you think Quest 2's reaching where Quest 1 is now?
2024.
I agree.
I think that year is going to look a lot like this year. Like it's going to be phasing out, and then by the time you get to 2025, it's just an afterthought. No one's developing for it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's developing, cutting edge games. We'll say.
I just hope the apps stay active.
I mean, I think
suck if you just if you just can't use the thing anymore.
I mean, I think the consumer pushback from that would be hell.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think they'll keep things running, and that it's going to be same infrastructure. Housing it, for logins and check-ins, stuff like DRM. So there's no reason for things to really go offline. It would just be like if a title goes offline.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Or like on an iPhone where they, eventually after a few years they just phase it out because they don't want to update it for the old hardware. to make sure it's running correctly.
Yeah,
it's not mandatory. But I can see the fact when I read this and I saw the 2 new Quest headsets, probably by the end of 2024, I can see next year kind of what you're saying, kind of like maybe a little bit of a redesign, better cooling, maybe lighter and such. But generally, it's the same headset, right? Generally, right? Maybe the Plus model, like you said, or the iPhone S, kind of thing.
So I mean, Cambria, we know what Cambria is.
Yeah.
Obviously Cambria is going to be this. It's going to be for developers and enthusiasts. It's going to be to test new features like full color AR pass through and face tracking, eye tracking. It's going to be to test those new features and to break into new ground. And it's not going to be consumer friendly. Not price.
See what sticks.
Usability. But most of the core of it is still just a Quest with these, tapped on extra features. And then, I think the next Quest, they will find some way to iterate, make it a more powerful device because they have to. All developers are saying, listen, we're tapping out the hardware now.
Yeah.
So going into 2023, you'll get a better Quest. And then the other Quest would probably be like a Quest that's less affordable, but integrate some of those like Cambria features. Because remember, Facebook or Meta really wants all of their devices to be affordable. Now, $300 debatable is affordable or not, but they want it to be so anyone can get into it. And then obviously there will be some people who are interested in something like Cambria, but no one's gonna spend $1,500 or whatever it ends up being to get the same gaming experience.
Right.
So it would be like the people who are interested in trying the Cambria features but still want to use that headset for gaming. It would probably be something around there. That's my guess.
For sure.
The news does make me less likely to want to get Cambria. Like I'll just wait and get that Quest.
Oh, when you see the price tag, no one's
exactly.
Well, that kind of moves on to the next story that essentially, I think it was rumored that it was going to cost $800. I think the information, again, the same news outlet said it will probably cost $799. But a spokesperson from Meta wrote into the information and also wrote into Upload VR to say it's going to be significantly higher than this. They kind of confirmed that.
So I think 800 is their actual cost.
Yeah, the development. Yeah.
Because if you look at the Quest 2 still gets sold at a loss. The upscaled model, the 256 gigabyte, might be breaking even. Might be. Yeah. So you factor in things like 400 is the cost for a Quest 2. Let's just say that. Let's say that's true. But we can't say for sure. However, that is a mass-produced device. Cambria is not being mass-produced.
Right.
So obviously, component prices go up. Yeah. Now, on top of that, you're going to factor in, well, we're not subsidizing this. We want a return on this because, this isn't our mainstream product. This isn't for everyone. No. We want a return on our, R&D.
Yeah.
So it's not subsidized. So it's definitely not being sold at, 400 is just the base Quest. Add on all these new features, maybe 300, $400 gets to that. Like I said, I think they're cost them $800 to build a device. Then they want to make a profit on it. And a 50% margin is not unreasonable. So a $1,200, $1,300 device. There you go.
Yeah, I can see that. And obviously Zuckerberg said, I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, that he wants this Cambria to be something that replaces the laptop. That's what they're going for. That's the market. That
laptop
they're going
for your face.
They're essentially competing with potentially Apple whenever they come out with something, what's heavily rumored as well. That's what they're looking at. And that Apple headset is rumored to be like $3,000, $4,000, right? Which I can see that. It's Apple, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they're kind of going for. So the thing is, would you buy it at that price point? Like, does this Cambria kind of appeal to you in any sense of direction apart from just checking it out?
I mean, it appeals to my love of technology. I would love to get my hands on one, but the practical side of me says, well, why would you buy one of these? You're not going to put it to use
for what it's intended. Yeah.
For what it's intended. I don't have much free time available for that. Like, when I was younger, yeah, I probably would appreciate it more because maybe I developed for it or, test out all sorts of different use cases. But now it's like, the free time is so limited. It's like, I just want to jump in and get going. I would feel like if I played with settings and AR pass through for like 2 hours, I kind of feel like walking away like I wasted that time, even though it was learning experience, whatever. That's my mental state now. So it probably doesn't appeal to me. Now, if I could get my hands on one, I'd love to test it. Yeah. I'd love to, just see what it's like in games. It's going to be the same as Quest, but also, remember the sides aren't covered. No. So you have all this light bleed. So it's actually not going to be a better gaming experience. It doesn't matter what they do with the screen. The Quest 2 currently doesn't run at the native resolution of its existing screen. So it doesn't matter if you put an 18K screen in there, some future tech. It doesn't matter. It's not running it. All you're doing is killing your battery faster.
Yeah. The only thing I guess is just it probably is more comfortable, the Cambria.
Yes. And that's the comfort does interest me. Because the Quest is.
Yeah. I'm also interested in see how the tracking works with the new controller design as well. How there's no ring and they've got cameras in the controller. That's something that I can definitely see happening in the Quest 3 or 4 or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
The same kind of thing. Yeah, you're right. This is their test bed. It's kind of like the Tesla model where they have the Roadster, which is like 200 grand or whatever. And then, that's just for the small market and that will fund everything else coming down between with the Model 3.
They'll know what features work, what features developers want to implement.
So obviously that was a Cambria. So next part of the news is Lightboxer. So I wanted to mention this one because Lightboxer adds kind of what you wanted in Supernatural. It adds a free subscription tier, which allows you to have unlimited access to over 65 workouts. Obviously, Lightboxer has like 300 plus if you get the premium tier, but you got that free tier. You got the what you wanted from Supernatural, etc. in Lightboxer. And I think that's a great move. For it, especially. I don't know if Lightboxer works elsewhere. I'm not sure.
I haven't tried it. It's one of the few apps I haven't tried. But yeah, having a free tier I think is a great option. Supernatural, I think they know they don't have to do it, so that's why they're not doing it. Like if they ever had like a dip in subscribers or something, maybe that's when they'll consider it.
Yeah, you'll
they do offer the guest passes. That's pretty.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I was just going to mention too, like I said at the top, it supports hand tracking 2.0 now. So we've got a few games that have started to trickle in hand tracking 2.0, but I think this is a great idea because it is just boxing and it's going to be way better.
So fast. Like hand tracking, from my experience, struggles with like the fast movements.
Hey, hand tracking 2.0
and the occlusion, but
2.0 is the future.
2.0, exactly. I'm gonna jump in and try this out for sure.
No more magic jazz hands when you occlude
your
ears and pops up over here. No more magic.
I've heard nothing but good things about tracking 2.0, so I haven't tried anything in it. I think Hand Physics Lab has got tracking 2.0 added now.
Yeah,
I think they introduced it.
Cubism too.
Unplugged is getting it very soon. They've already showcased it, but it's not out fully yet. So I'm excited to try it. Yeah, but with hand tracking 2.0, Lightboxer could work fine. So I'm gonna definitely check that out. Moving on to the last couple ones. So we have a couple of rhythm game updates. Smash Drums adds 5 new songs in a new Volcano update. You can also preview the 5 new songs in their Spotify playlist. So definitely search Smash Drums if you have Spotify. It's free DLC, and it has a cool volcano-like level in there too. Also a new practice mode, which you can analyze your performance in different sections, which I think is a really nice feature in there. Samson, you played much Smash Drums recently?
No, definitely haven't hopped in a minute, but I don't know, maybe these 5 new songs get me back in for a little bit.
It's a tough one for the wrists, that Smash Drums, if you're playing some of those hard tracks. I'm not gonna lie. Matteo, have you done anything in Smash Drums?
I've played absolutely zero of it.
Zero?
Like it's just not my style. And so I wasn't drawn to it. Limited time. For sure. I'm gonna go to things that appeal to me more, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Smash Drums. It's just I don't go to it as much anymore, just because I like the Supernatural, I like the Synth Riders. A little easier on the wrists. And then the final thing was Beat Saber. Obviously we spoke about it before in terms of the Meta Gaming Showcase. The electronic mixtape has now been released. I kind of wish that there was more recent EDM songs, but they have the Sandstorm that people are gonna love, especially Samson, who's gonna join into it.
I know nothing about EDM, so
yeah. I'm a good big fan of EDM, so I'm definitely gonna check out at least a couple of these tracks. But Matteo, have you ever noticed that the Beat Saber tracking is different compared to the Supernatural flow tracking?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And there's a lot of approximation that goes on in Beat Saber.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actually, Beat Saber gives you a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
And it's also designed to be, like we said, played completely different. But I've actually watched some some informational stuff on Beat Saber, and they talk about like how much approximation and how much leeway they give you, because there's a lot of times where you'd expect the hit, and if you really had like an external 3D camera, you'd see you missed. But the average person expected, based on, you know, just like the 3D environment and where you feel like you are in the environment, you feel like you should have hit. And people will be like, what's going on? I should have hit that. And then with the external 3D camera, you'd say, no, look, you miss it. But they don't want the game to feel bad. So they kind of accommodate for stuff like that.
Yeah. I definitely notice it.
Yeah. So there's definitely more of that approximation stuff that goes on, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely noticed it. And plus, I jumped into a Beat Saber Expert Plus. I just wanted to see what it's like. You know, I'm playing on medium, maybe hard on a few songs. My God, they come at you so quick.
But it's all about just like flicking the wrist.
It's all about, you're doing your Wii Sports type of.
You're
like
not
tennis.
looking at those cubes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's finish off the show with games out this week. Samson, do you want to read this one out?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in this one. I think Area Man Lives, coming out May 12th. Or does he? If you could join a radio drama already in progress, talk to the characters and interact with the environments, the story painted in your mind, you might find yourself in the world of the Area Man. A quirky radio drama unfolds around you in VR while you do your best to keep the radio station humming along as its new DJ. Your record commercials, interview callers, and try your best to piece together how your actions inside the station impact your listening audience in scenarios so wild they can only live in your imagination. When an unusual area man calls into the station asking you for help, you have to act fast. Will you trust the area man or do your best to thwart his plans? Is there anything you can do to save the area man from himself?
That's a long description. I apologize.
Sounds like an interesting puzzler. Yeah.
Bonus points for reading it one shot.
Yeah.
We got tongue
twisted. Thank you.
Times.
I didn't realize how long that was. I apologize for that. But
that was my first read too.
Nice. That was a puzzle narrative game. Won an award at a VR film festival for this one. I can't remember which one. I didn't write it down. But that comes out May 12th. So
depends on price. I'll say that. I do like a short little puzzler game, but it does depend on price for me.
I'm intrigued, but that's where it ends.
Yeah.
It's one of those where, I am intrigued. I'll wait to what other people say, maybe see a couple YouTube videos and then go, okay, I'll dive in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hopefully the ambassadors get this one and I can see 4 people play it.
Most likely. All right, perfect. Let's finish off the show because I know Matteo, you need to dart off. Yes. Matteo, it was great to see you. It was great to have you back on the show.
Absolutely. Great. You're only guest to arrive twice. So
yes.
I'm really proud of that. No, thank you guys for having me. It's a lot of fun. I'm always available. I love talking VR. This is, I could do this all day.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll definitely have you on again by the end of the year. I'm sure of that. We'll go for 3 times. We'll do a hat trick. Right. Anything you want to plug just before we leave?
If you want to stop by my YouTube channel, it's Gaming with Matteo311. Check it out. You guys talk about some of the videos I make. I my bread and butter, I've been told, is I'll put out a list of different types of videos. So if you're looking for, the best RPGs or the best this or best overall games, best quest games, whatever, I got plenty of those. I do the weekly news, so you guys can come in, keep up to date, very similar to what you guys did in this podcast. I'm a little bit less wordy. I kind of get it down, a little bit faster than us rambling here. But I turn on the mic and I go full steam for about 8 minutes, and I let you know what happened last week and what's coming up this week in about 8 minutes. So
perfect.
Bite size, I like it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that if you guys want to check it out, I'd love to have some new visitors on the channel.
You did get into those shorts, like the 2-minute drill or something like that. They must not have been popular.
Maybe like a year ago, I tried that. Yeah. Trying to do like, I just experiment with shorts and give like a quick 1 minute or 2 minute game review, and I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll have all the links in the description below. Like I said, Matteo, thank you very much for joining us. Samson, of course, thanks for joining us, and thank you to the listeners and the viewers for watching, and we'll catch you next Wednesday. Bye now.